Hi, everybody. This is Nuri speaking, the author of the book Leading the Unknown. I like talking about the future of work, freelancing and gig. In my channel and through my channel, many of the people have been reaching out to say, hey, give us a little bit tips on freelancer, how a freelancer should set up his or her environment. What are the tips for work-life balance, avoiding burnout or whatsoever? So I've been looking at many of the freelancers that I've been working and I'm still working with. And the one single person that really stands out on this matter, because I saw the evolution on how things changed in his environment in this case, is Junel Rosales. So I have Junel today with me. I'm going to interview him, and he's going to give us extraordinary tips on all of those facts so that you as a freelancer or as a remote worker as well, you can be really successful. Hey, Junel, thanks and
Hey,
welcome
hey.
to the show. So
Thank
tell
you,
us, tell
thank
us
you.
a little bit about yourself, Junel.
Thank you, Nuri. So yeah, I'm from Manila, Philippines, and I've been doing, freelancing work for 6 years now. Way over 6 years actually. And I started, like just every regular guy who's been working and going into an office. And then here in the Philippines, main problem is traffic. So I did took a leap of faith 6 years ago to try freelancing, and I must say it's very, very refreshing, you know, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of changes on how I, provide an outlook to life, provide an outlook to my family. There's been a lot of benefits technically, but um, with freelancing, there are different niche. So my niche right now is project management. So for everyone's information, so I handle projects. I do strategies and tactical executions. Actually, more closely to Microsoft 365, of course, and its product. Uh, Way back then, when I started, when I heard about freelancing, um, I think of how can I get myself into freelancing, right? So sitting down at some point and then thinking of a better way to not just earn better money, but also to provide a better quality of life for myself and for my family. And then um, what one thought that came into my mind is or was you need to follow the technology, right? So I followed the technology, and one of the booming technologies back then was Office 365. It was Office 365, and then now Microsoft 365. So I must say that I don't have any regrets on following the trend of the technology, staying close to it, learning the things into it, and now here I am. So that's a little bit about me.
That is a great summary, Junel. So, thinking about it really transparently, if you look at the plus and the pros and the cons of becoming a freelancer, because many people say, hey, I'm freelancer since, ever, 25 years. I've never known what a full-time employment is. Commuting, going to job, having a manager,
Yeah.
sitting on a desk all day. But you have both of those kind of experiences. So hand in your heart, you said that you don't regret it, right? But looking at the pros and the cons, where are you at the moment? So it's obvious that if you're still continuing to be a freelancer, it seems to be that the pros are a lot more. But if you make a balance, would it be like a more, hey, I'm really happy I made the change, or sometimes I really wish that I would be a full-time employee. Tell us about it.
Well, I think that depends on the person itself, right? On what kind of person you are. So for me, I'm a family man, right? So with the kids growing, I have an 8-year-old and I have a 4-year-old right now. And believe me or not, 6 years of their life for that 8-year-old, for my oldest son, I spent close with him, right? So for me, the balance is freelancing here. I mean, going back to office is way down here, honestly. And then again, the situation really varies for most people. One of the pain points that I have was the daily commute. Honestly, it's what 3 hours going, 3 hours going, you know, back and forth, right? So that's total 6 hours. If you're covering like 10 hours shift, that's 16 hours outside, and you only have 8 hours to
Wow.
sleep and spend time to your kids. So with that simple logic and mindset, right, that would give you enough reason to know which is better. So that's,
Gotcha.
I don't need to explain it further. I don't need to, provide a deep context on why freelancing is very important to me. I think that alone justifies everything. So,
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, Junel, let's switch gears because many people are asking me, "Hey, Nuri, I want to become a freelancer. Do I need my own office? Do I need to invest money in my office? Can I do freelancing in a small spot or in a internet coffee?" I'm making it up all of the scenarios. So Junel, tell us a little bit your story on how the way that you work, the place that you work, the tools that you used have been evolving. Because I guess you also had a learning exercise on seeing, hey, your clients' requirements, and all of that. So take us through that journey a little bit, Junel.
all right. So my journey started, in the first year of my freelancing. Of course, it's a first try, right? So you don't really know what you're going into. So I just covered the basics. I bought a laptop, got a noise canceling headset, right? And at that, point of time, we were living in a 4x4 house, I would say, a very small space, and I have to make the most out of it. So having two kids, it's kind of difficult and tough and maintaining. So I was kind of working in the living room, right? I have my own little table there that I remove after I finish my work, right? So it's a it's for me, I was enjoying it at first, right? But as years go by and as you try to provide more focus into your work and provide, produce a more quality output, I think it's really important um, for you to have an office, a haven for your craft, right? A haven for your work. It's a place that's going to be right, not far away from your family members, of course. It doesn't have to be necessary like in a different house or a different place or location. It can be inside your home, but allocate a either, you know small to an intermediate space actually that would would benefit you in the long run. So for believe it or not, for 3 years, Nuri, um, I was working in a very small space office like this small, right? So if I move backward, I will hit the wall actually.
Wow.
And then my table was a makeshift table created from aluminum and glass actually, because that's what I can afford back then. So we did a makeshift table, and you can't even fit like a big table there because it was really small, right? And you don't have enough leg room. You can't even stretch your foot, all the way back. Even if you go back there and then stretch your leg like that, no, you won't be able to do so. It was a it was okay because it was okay to me first because yeah, I'm excited, I have full of energy, right? But as the years go by and you get to that, same place or same setup, it becomes more tiring. Eventually, it's gonna tire you because you can't move around. Even if you want to eat, the table doesn't even fit a plate. Come on, right? So I started working. Yeah, so you can have a small space office, but that requires a lot of good planning, and I would say less design, but more into the functionality, right? So for me, having an office, yes, is good. What but it's not just having an office. You need to provide a not just a proper place, but the proper settings of that office. What do I mean by that? So right now I'm sitting in a very comfortable office, right? When I come in, I feel inspired, I feel energized that hey, this is my what you call this, like when a carpenter does his job, right? And he has
Yeah.
his own
This is my
tools.
shop.
This is
This
my
is my
shop,
shop. My
right?
shop.
So I'm proud of it. This is my shop. So my shop, I have a big table, right? It fits a lot of the things that I need: the keyboard, the mouse. And I can even like right now I can fit a plate on it, right? So I can sometimes eat whenever I need to take a break, right? And then I place my table near a window, right? So that window is it's close outside of my home, and then outside of my home there's a lot of trees, and then you get a good amount of sunlight when it's sunrise, right? So that's how I actually designed it. So when you get a table, it's not just any other table. You can get any other table, like a camping table, like well, not dining table. I'm not sure if you can, if that would even fit for a freelancing work, right? But a proper office table, I would say, with the right height, with the right length and width, that would actually, um, have the purpose of placing all the things that you need for work. So, and aside from that, well, aside from that, having an office is good. Having the right tool inside the office is good. You also need to think of course, when you have an office, you need to put things like, inspiring things, right? Um, Designing it. For me, that's just, user preference. I don't really like a lot of colors, vibrant colors in an office. For me, simplicity is the key,
Do
right?
you have any pictures or, pictures of the people or places that you like so that sometimes you just say, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, I do. I do.
positivity." Or okay, so
I do,
okay,
I do, but not a lot, right? Because me, I value the, you know, for me, pictures is okay, but when I talk about, the colors of the wall, the vibrancy of the colors, I like simple and neutral colors. I like dirty white, plain white, and then a gray color in the combination. For me, that gives the purpose that, hey, I'm in this room, I need to focus in my work. So, but that really depends on what kind of person you are and your personality is. For me, that's what inspires me: the simplicity of it, the 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 functionality of it. But yes, you can get a picture, you can get a plant. Actually, those indoor plants, those are really good.
yeah.
I'm planning to get, probably 3 or 4, and then put it right beside the window. Um, you don't really need to water them or anything, or to take care of them, right? So from time to time, maybe, but they're really good on designing your offices. What's more important in an office is you have a file desk, or a file cabinet, actually, to organize your things, right? So if you're a freelancer, if you have an office, I know that everything is virtual, but it's still really good to take notes. Pen and paper is still sometimes best, right?
I'm that
So
person too.
yeah,
I
right.
was.
So and then it keeps you level, and then, to always remind yourself. There are meeting invites. You can set meeting invites to yourself to remind you, but sometimes going back to the basics and making notes, right? And then with those, you can't just place them anywhere. You need to find a perfect place to actually store them. Because although you have an office, it has a door, you can close it. But sometimes, other family members can go to the office, right? And then maybe take things out, right? So you need to make sure that, okay, yeah, I have a file cabinet that has a key. So that's where I keep the most important work stuff, actually, so that the kids won't be able to reach out to them and then maybe do some drawing on the notebook. Yeah,
Yeah, or burning them. No, this
yeah.
is really cool. This is really cool. So, do you have multiple monitors? Do you think that to become a freelancer, you need this? Like sometimes I see people like a spaceship, like they have 16 monitors, and then you say, "Wow!" I mean, that person must be doing like 16 gigs and 16 freelancing role at the same time. But do you really need like tons of monitors? Or tell us a little bit about how this, or do you have a laptop? Simple. How does it work for you?
Well, what works for me is 2 to 3 monitors. Actually, right now, my setup, I have 3 monitors in total, but I'm not booting up the other monitor, because I bought like a longer or a larger monitor for the other one, and then I use the laptop's monitor. So right now, I'm utilizing 2 monitors. I think that would be a perfect setup for freelancers. Why? Um, I'm wearing glasses, right? So if you're doing freelancing work and you have a lot of monitors to look into, for me, that's adding stress, honestly. I mean, yeah, why you can organize, okay, this I will want to see in the monitor one, this I want to see in the monitor two, but you don't really need that a lot, right? It's just a matter of, proper organization of yourself, and setting up your workflow as well on how you do work, you don't need to have a lot of monitors. 2 to 3 is enough. That depends on the type of the job, of course, but it's really difficult if you have a small monitor and then you have one monitor only, and then you keep on doing what this is real life scenario. Alt tab, you keep on doing closing, minimizing, reopening the other window that you need to view, right? If you have I have a 24 or 27-inch monitor here on the left side. You got people probably won't be seeing it, but you can see it in the background, right? So on the left side, a 27-inch monitor. Here I have a 16-inch monitor. So on the left side, this is where I organize everything, right? Um, and then, having a lot of monitors can actually, you know, sometimes damage your eyes, right? Too much
A lot
lights.
of
You know what
radiation.
I'm,
A lot of
yeah,
radiation can.
a lot of radiation. Yeah. So we enjoy the comfort of working from home, but sometimes people forget that um, we need to take care of ourselves. Like health is supposed to be there, and then
Yeah.
even though you're trying to aim for um, a much more fun workplace and far more better hardware and requirements that you have. But the thing here is, you're not thinking. People sometimes people don't think that, hey, this is damaging me, and this is for me. If I see like 5 monitors, it's like, hey, I'm not from NASA. I'm a freelancer, so I think 2 to 3 is enough. That's my 2 cents, Nuri.
No, this is great, and that takes us to the following section, which is really about your time management,
Yeah,
burnout situations, work-life balance, avoiding burnout, but most importantly, how does a morning or a morning routine or a lunch routine or a very typical kind of routine look like? Let's start with that, and then let's talk a little about the mental health, burnout, stress, because you need to continue with your gig or you need to get another gig. So how to avoid burnout and health issues? So tell us a little bit about that, Junel.
sure. So let's talk numbers first, right? So you're doing a freelancing job, and that's either gonna be 8 to 10 hours job, right? And then that would leave you 14 hours of you to spend your time with your family, to rest, right? And then do other stuff. So with before comparing that to when I was working in an office or going into a company doing commute, so I only have um, less than 8 hours actually to do all of this stuff. So right now I have a lot of time, I would say. And then in that way, in an essence, I was able to embrace the no commute lifestyle. However, that has a negative side as well. If you don't actually, um, you know, if you don't, if you don't do it properly, if you don't plan it properly, right? That 14 hours can result into I am just sitting down, not doing anything and just lying down, right? Not being productive. It's not that okay, yeah, you deserve to rest because you work 8 hours, 14
Do you have the
hours is
time?
what you have watched the TV, right? You just want to watch the TV the whole day for the entire 14 hours. No. So for me, morning routines are very important, right? When you wake up, what I do usually, I usually wake up very early. So I wake up around 5 a.m. in the morning, right? So when I wake up, I usually do morning coffee, um, sit down and then read some stuff. I'm not really a full blown reader, but sometimes I want to read news on what's going on, around me. Being a freelancer, I don't go out too much, right? Uh, um, that might be a bad thing or a good thing, but for me, that depends on a person. I don't go out too much. I don't get to watch TV a lot of times, but sometimes you have to stay tuned on what's going on in the world, right? News.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an outbreak already outside. You don't know because you've been
You have no
you've
idea.
been working. So that's what I do. I stay out. I stay out of work, but I stay in to the real. I stay connected to what's going on in the
Connected.
real world. Yep. So and then um, after that, once I feel energized, I have a little bit of energy. Um, Either coffee or the herbal drink that I'm drinking. Actually, that's actually good. for freelancers, so you guys might want to try that. I'm not promoting anything, but yeah, for health and give you energize. You don't wake up and then eat a full meal. That's not really good. So that's what I do nowadays. And then after that, once I feel a little bit energy coming back to me because I just woke up. Of course, after the basics, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, or you do, you you do
Let's
the
not go into
yeah.
the.
Sorry. So personal, you know, you have to have your own personal rituals, right? That will benefit yourself. So stretching, doing a little bit of exercise, an hour, 30 minutes, no matter how short or long it is, as long as you're very consistent on a daily basis, that would eventually give uh bring back a lot of benefits to you. And then that benefits those energy, if it's either knowledge or health, you can now use that and then you know whole transfer that when you're working. I mean, if you have a better health, of course, then you produce much better outcome, so to speak. So that's what I
That's kind of the
see
your
for
your
morning
your
routine.
your morning routine. What about
Yeah.
your work-life balance, time management, and burnout? Have you been close to burnout because of stressy assignments or worries about if you'll be able to find a new gig or freelancing work? So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I won't be a human being if I say that I didn't ever felt burnt out or burnout, right? So no, yeah, and yes, the answer to that is yes, yes. Uh, being burnt out is always gonna be there in work, but um, it doesn't mean that you're always gonna be burnt out and then just gonna kill yourself after, right?
Hopefully
Not
not.
in real life, not in real life, right? But it it's how you manage it, right? First, you have to reflect on yourself. How do you why did I find myself in this situation where I'm burnt out already, right? Yeah, reflect yourself. What did I do in the past 2 weeks? So in the past 2 weeks, I did this continue, over time. Did a lot of things, even if I'm not in my shift, people call me, I go ahead and stand up and wake up and go to work, right? For me, the way you go around being burnt out is mastering the art of time, actually.
Got you.
So what does it mean, right? Setting clear goals. Yeah, setting clear goals on a daily basis or on a weekly basis is good. Every time that I go to work, every time that I log in, go to work, the first 5 to 10 minutes of my time is actually reading emails. And then from that, I can go ahead and clearly set the goals for the entire day. Those are all
Yeah.
ad hoc and tactical things,
So you're
right?
organizing yourself. The first thing
Yep.
that you're doing is for the day, you just reflect on what you have in hand, prioritize it, and organizing. Is this kind of my understanding?
Yes. You organize things. You list down that, hey, it's simple, right? You can either use a bunch of technologies that you have in place, like online, to set you for reminders. For me, it can be simple as writing it down in a notepad, right? This is what I need to do the entire week. One, two, three, four, five. What is the most important part here? Okay, this is the priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 or what. So that depends on. So that's one of the things. Okay, and to manage being burnt out, um, you've set your clear goals technically, but you you have to provide yourself with some break, right? I'll tell you. So if if you have to work for one entire or 2 entire weeks, right, and you're already feeling burnt out for the first week, um, when you're working, take regular breaks, like short breaks, right? When I say short break, is you don't do a break in front of your computer,
Yeah.
right?
Many
You
people do that.
No, that's not actually helping you because every time that you're in front of your computer or you're in your office, it's always gonna pull you back to work,
Yeah,
right? It's always
that's the
gonna
key,
pull you
Junel.
back to work.
Yeah.
Even me, even me. So I I mentioned earlier that sometimes I have a plate here and eat. That's actually a good thing. That's not a good practice. So I'm trying to change that and to be better as well. So take breaks, even if you're just gonna read something, take a walk, or drink a cup of coffee or tea. As long as you can clear your mind, right? Small breaks is good, especially if you're already burnt out during the first week and you still have another week to attend to work to, right? So take small breaks. That's very important because if you continue and don't do that, I promise you, um, you won't be able to finish whatever it is that you're doing. You won't be
Yeah.
productive. And don't get me wrong, right? Being, you know, it doesn't mean that you're, for me, this is my 2 cents, Nuri. If you're not productive today or this week, it doesn't mean that you're not really productive at all, right? It
That's
just
a
means
very
that
good point.
it just means that you you probably got burnt out, from the past week, and you need a little bit of time to rest. But there's always a choice, right? I wouldn't say that no choice, you have to work the following week. No. So aside from taking short breaks, um, disconnecting, right? I mean, you don't work the whole day, right? So you don't work what Saturday and Sundays or whatever your schedule is. Turn off everything, right? I mean,
Get rid of it.
no, not
Yeah.
get rid of it, right? You're gonna need those, but
Yeah.
unplug. When I say unplug, you literally need to unplug the computer and turn it off, because the more you have it open, even if you're doing non-work related stuff, you're always gonna think of, hey, your head is always gonna be in there in the clouds thinking, okay, I'm doing this. Okay, let me check work in a few
Let's
minutes.
answer an email. Let's go to a chat. Let's do work. Yeah, let's continue with the. So these are really good tips, Junel. While we are kind of approaching to the end of the this little show, um, any kind of suggestions for the people who are getting into the freelancing world and they are scared or they don't know what to do? Tell us, give them a message. So, getting in, being a freelancer is not really an easy thing, right?
It's not for
Um,
everyone.
yeah. So, and it's like starting something new, like an unknown. But still, then when people get into that, they start to discover and they start to explore. Some of them are successful, some of them are not, to be honest. If you are good and if you are willing, then you will always find a good gig, and that gig is going to be a reference for you. Go to your next gig and have a reference and increase your price points, and then network with the people. Make sure that you have all of those clients and customers, that they know you, engaging with those customers to make sure that, hey, if tomorrow there is something, call me. So, but yeah, when you think about from moving from one side to the other and you're just kind of a new person listening to you, what is your kind of one, two advices that you would like to give? And maybe imagine that this is Junel 6 years ago, trying to figure out if he wants to get to that world, yes or no, and you give him kind of a whisper, a couple of advices. So, what would be them?
Okay, so there are a few points that I want to say about that actually. First is be brave, right? I'll explain it later on. The second one is preparation, right? So when I say be brave, believe in whatever skills that you have right now, right? If you think that you're not going to be fit for that specific job, you will never know if you never try, honestly.
Yeah.
So that was me 7 years ago, Marie. I was so afraid going to the unknown, actually, of the freelancing world. And I don't know if this is going to be sustainable, because why? I have people depending on me, I have mouths to feed. You have those sorts of responsibility.
Yeah.
But you also have pain points as well. So be brave, take the leap of faith, right? If your skills is not enough, right, come prepared. So that's when the keyword preparation comes in place. when I say come prepared, there's a lot of find your niche first, right? Find what you really want to do. And if you can't find what you really want to do, there's a lot of online courses there that can teach you new skills. And then
Yeah.
eventually, if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 online courses, different niches, right? Different technologies, different like virtual assistant, customer service, technical support, administration, right? I even have a family member. I'll tell you this story. Um, she does the balancing of the books, right?
Oh yeah.
She's an
Like an
accountant.
accountant? Accountant, yeah.
She's a certified accountant here in the Philippines. So she knows that I'm into freelancing already, and she want to explore freelancing, right?
Great.
She's working in an office, but she, wants to gain an extra income, but she doesn't know where to start. And I told her, you already have a starting point. You're a certified accountant. That's a plus already on your profile, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is just to, you know, be brave, go to different freelancing platforms, post your profile.
Push the
How can you,
button.
yeah, push the button. How can you post your profile? Well, just tell a story about yourself and the things that you did, right? And what you can do. And then, believe me or not, Nuri, and she's been doing freelancing work for almost a year now,
And
right?
happy?
And happy.
Happy?
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, I mean,
I
yeah.
mean,
I
there are
mean,
some profiles that they don't know and they're like in the unknown, and they say, hey, look, I have a full-time employee. I'm a full-time employee in a company. I'll start small and I'll start discovering and I'll start getting experience. And then while they get in, they increase their client base. They realize that, hey, I can do a lot more than more of this. There is
yeah,
a potential. I am popular now, and I'm going to leave my full-time employment and I'm going to get into this world. So there is this kind of a transitional kind of a way to be able to do that as well, right? What do you think?
yeah. There's also, for me, when I transitioned from an office job or day job over to a freelancing job, what are the things that I did, right? Of course, I can't just transition without proper preparation. So I made sure that um, for 2 months I have a backup, meaning to say that for 2 months I can cover my bills,
I
right?
see.
Right. This is just logically thinking, Nuri. So for 2 months I can cover my bills, and then if in 2 months I can't be successful with freelancing and I can't land a job, then I'm 100% sure that I can always land a day job, right?
Yeah.
But then again, it goes back to the fact that because of that specific um, challenge to people, that's why they're kind of hesitant on taking the leap of faith. I think the people are scared to go into freelancing because they think the stability of it is not there. It is there, and I can attest for that for going to what 7 years or more than 6 years now, and you can see the smile on my face. Trust me, I'm very happy. So
That is great. Hey, Junel, it was a pleasure to have you here with us. I hope that our listeners and our watchers are going to put comments. They will share also their experiences. And thanks for sharing how you are setting up your environment, how you're dealing with your morning routine, how you evolved from that small place into this kind of an office that you have, and also some of the tips that you gave to the people on work-life balance, mental health, how to deal with those kind of situation. In the end, as you're saying, it's your own decision. And looking forward to have you in the show in a couple of weeks or months, Junel, with another topic. Thanks a lot.
thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Nuri again. I hope that you're doing okay. I'm the writer of the book, Leading the Unknown. To work with people who are remote and you never met before. The future is going to be hybrid, remote work, and also you need to have a leader, not a manager.